Hey, this is Steven with KnifeTV. We're here at the Art Knife Invitational. We're sitting with Wolfgang Loerchner, good friend of mine, known him for years. How you doing, Wolf?
I'm hanging in.
Excellent. How was the show for you?
Excellent show. The AKI is always very good. Really enjoyed.
Wolf, you were originally a nuclear engineer?
A nuclear technologist.
Nuclear technologist. And somehow, some way, you figured out a way to make knives with files. How did that come about?
Well, actually, that's such a long time ago. I saw some knives in a Gun Digest, and I thought I'd try to make some. The only thing
About what was this time? About what time?
That would have been early 80s. Thought I'd try to make one. I had some old files around, and just started whittling away in my woodworking bench. And I liked doing it. Then did about 3 like that. Then I went and saw a knife maker, got some knife steel, did that. And I made about 3 or 4 using knives and went to my first knife show. And I saw what the other guys were doing in 3 or 4 hours in their grinders. And I thought, shit, there's no way I can compete with that. So I decided I'm going to have to do something else. And that's when I started into art knives. Or artsy knives in any case. So actually using knives, I never made very many. I started trying to do more elaborate stuff right from the start.
So you exclusively work with files and hand equipment rather than working with buffers and polishers and things like that. And I remember speaking with you about 10 years ago and you saying that it all starts with your drawings.
That's right. For me, I like to see what I'm going to do or what I have to do, so I make very detailed drawings with shadings, do all the shading on it so I know what it looks like 3D. Part of the reason is that I do sketches all the time. Some sketches sit there for 4 or 5 years. If I didn't have the shading on it and a really good drawing, I'd never remember what I was thinking at the time.
So rather than having it just in your mind, it starts in your mind,
That's right.
Then you draw it out, and then you make it.
Exactly, yes. Now, people ask me how long my knives are, how long the blades are. I never know because I make the drawing and then I work right off the drawing. I never actually measure anything at all. So I cannot emphasize this enough. Most knife makers work with power equipment. You work specifically with hand equipment with the entire process of your knives. Yes. Well, I do use a drill press and a bandsaw, like little cheap bandsaw, and I've got a hard wheel grinder, bench grinder, to take some of the bulk off on the daggers, which I now don't make anymore. So it's pretty well all handwork. Yeah. On the folders, I use a drill press to drill out a lot of the holes on the, or do a lot of drilling on the inlay pockets, but then ultimately they're filed out to shape. And that's how I get the sharp corners in there, which you can't get with a machine because you're using round tooling. So
not only are you the only Canadian Art Knife Invitational member, but you're also the father of a daughter who works very similarly to your style. How did that come about?
Yes, well, she's a very artsy person and decided she wanted to do something in the arts, so she played around with different things. Then at one point she thought she wanted to make knives, so I just let her go ahead by herself, and she experimented for a while, and she decided she couldn't spend all those hours in the shop by herself. Then took about 5 years. I guess she matured a little, and she thought she'd want to try it again because she played with other artsy things. I gave her some time to think about it. I told her if we're going to do this, it's going to be major investment in my time, and if we're going to do this, she better stick with it. Decide she wants to do it, stick with it, because if she didn't, I'd be really pissed off. So.
How long has Elizabeth been a full-time maker?
When she decided she wanted to do it, she actually moved into my workshop and actually moved back home for a year. And my shop is small, my bench is small. We spent 1 whole year 3 feet apart in my workbench.
What year was that?
That was about 3 years ago. So she made some knives in that first year, but independently I think it's been 2 or 3 years. It's hard to keep track of time, but Yeah, so it was a great experience for both of us. A lot of father-daughter bonding, a lot of tears in both parts, and yeah, but it was good.
For those of you out there that are watching, I just want you to know that people talk about grail knives. Well, my grail knife is a Wolf Loerchner knife, and for that I would have to pay about $20,000 or so, and I just can't seem to give up 10 or 15 other knives in order to make that happen. But if I ever win the lottery, I want a Wolfgang Loerchner dagger. This is Steven with KnifeTV at the Art Knife Invitational. Thanks so much, Wolf.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it. Thanks.
Have a great day.